welcome everybody to another edition of Hot Program. I am your host with the most, all the way from the East Coast, and as always, good people, I am in airplane mode, and now a man who warns that every song is appropriate for a kid's bop song.
I
A
should say
man who
not every
needs no.
song.
Oh, I should say not every song is
Not
appropriate.
every
Yeah,
song is appropriate
and
for a
not every
kid's bop
song.
song.
Yeah, that sounds a bit more like it.
I was just listening to kids bop while playing with my daughter, and I'm going, nah, guys, y'all should show some restraint. This is not okay. She's 13 months old. She doesn't know. It's just danceable to her.
All right, so YouTube gave me a thing about managing mods. That should be interesting. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see everybody. Let's take a quick look. All right, we got K Pebbles showing up early in the chat. Appreciate you. Thanks for being first in line. Uh, so yeah, we're gonna resume what we were talking about last week,
Okay.
which is this young man made a video called "Black People Are Under Religious Psychosis." Um, I think he's about 8 minutes and 30 seconds into this, so I'm gonna pull back to right around 8 minutes just so that maybe we can catch the run up to where we left off. But yeah, we got about 7 minutes, 8 minutes worth of this to try to get through. And yeah, I'm excited about it because this is just, there's been a lot of things that have really been changing my tone lately. And this young man's content I find encouraging. I think a lot of people are really not just coming out as atheists, but really like putting their whole foot in it. They're really like saying what they mean and not pulling any punches. And everybody's gonna do it differently. Not everybody's gonna be like ranting and raving
Hmm.
like me, but at least people are finding their voice and like finding a way to speak their truth, which I find to be really. So you sent me something from Cold Reason. I think we might cover uh some of that Cold Reason stuff. I find it really good. But why'd you say you couldn't say it? Why do you think that?
I forget which thing it was.
All right, we'll look into it.
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
we'll do that on a future episode and we could talk about it. And then I've been
Maybe
listening.
it's too.
Yeah. I mean, it's
And
definitely
I'm trying
that.
to get everybody to be peaceful and come together, and then there's something that
yeah, it's definitely like that. It's definitely like that. That's my style. That's what I like. You
I
know,
understand, Pocket
yeah,
Rocket. I
yeah. I think that's why you
understand.
sent it to me. But yeah, I don't see the issue. I was like,
Yeah,
why
I'm the fluffy atheist, folks. I'm the fluffy one.
not? And then I've been listening to Joel Reed's Bible, and
I've been
yeah,
listening to quite a bit of him too.
he's also very direct when he talks to people. He has a good sense of humor about it. All right, let me go ahead and roll this
Okay,
tape so we actually get
I'll
through
say
this.
this for
Go,
myself.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
It depends on the setting. If I'm confronted like on an airplane or something like that, and I know I'm not going to fall asleep on the flight, I kind of don't care what I say. I just don't want to end up with somebody who lost their faith and now they're trying to stick a fork in my neck. I don't. I'm not
Yeah,
looking for
yeah,
that. But yeah, it's again. I always try to be gentle if there's matters of deconstruction going on. I think people need to. One of the things I say often is, hey, read the Bible for yourself. Don't just rely on what your pastor is saying. They're trying to keep you faithful, they're trying to explain it the best they know. And you may be dealing with a pastor that is not super educated. on how the Bible came to
Hmm.
be, but they may know the Bible itself, those pages, they might know them quite well.
Yeah, yeah. Esther is the type to just come out and tell people like all pastors are liars. Which I know in my family is not going to go over well because they're ministers. But
Hmm.
that's where I'm at. You know, like that's the difference between me and my mom. Like she's all about honoring her parents. I'm cool. I get it. Like I guess that's your thing, but they're dishonest cult leaders, and that's that's the disconnect from me. And they don't see it that way, but it's a really good point, especially because I think we've entered a weird phase where I think counter apologetics has so many issues, but at the same time the church itself is in an apologetics era. So
Hmm.
when they go to their pastor, they're really getting the type of internet level apologetics that we get. They're just getting it from the pulpit because that's what all the pastors are into. Like pastors nowadays, they're all into apologetics, and then some of them even that's what their degrees and expertise is. Like that's becoming sort of
Christianity.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like
It's not Christianity
it's just
anymore.
where
It's
theologies
apologetics.
come. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
pretty much. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Jesus is standing in your way.
I mean, he is.
Where do you think that came from?
Bro,
All right, let's roll back,
He
see what
told
she said.
wrong 100 people is going to be and then just say, oh,
you really are. And with Deontay Kyle, he been doing this. Why do you think he been into that ancestral worship? Y'all just didn't know it.
what's wrong with worshiping your
Why do you
ancestors?
think all of a sudden he boom explode out of nowhere? What he did was he got black folks hyped up over being black and white people being jacked up. He ain't said nothing that all of us ain't already know or say a million times over. He's not doing anything special, nothing. But all of a sudden he come out of nowhere. Boom, explode. Why do you think that is? And the moment he got y'all hooked in with the being black, I'm black and I'm proud, and white people are toe up, and okay. Soon as he did that, what he say? Jesus is standing in your way.
I mean, he is.
What?
Yeah, so for those that don't know, what was just to kind of catch y'all up, especially if you didn't watch last week, like so he's trying to make the argument that black people are living under religious delusion. And he is playing a video of this lady, I presume, and she's responding to a guy who basically he likes the guy she's responding to, and that guy came out. We saw it last week. The guy came out basically and was saying like, yeah, like Christianity, took our culture from us, and it's like you're giving all of basically said you're misplacing your gratitude. You're giving all of the glory and the gratitude to this God, to this cult, to this religion, and you're actually not even acknowledging your ancestors who actually are the ones who spilt their blood for you and the ones
Hmm.
that led to you being here. And yeah, like I don't get into it because we don't talk about it too much, but to be honest, I'm not into religion. What I mean by that is I just don't think people need to be religious about anything. I just don't think it's helpful. But with that being said, it's important that people realize that black people being Christians is a result of our culture being taken from us. And even now, what people do with this missionary shit, a lot of evangelicals, a lot of different faiths are really into it. It's really nasty business, the missionary work. And it's nasty work just because of the exploitation. It's nasty work because it's really way making for capitalist exploitation. It's disgusting and problematic because it's white saviorism, going to the global south of black and brown people and making them reliant on this religion and this cult when they really need to be improving their material conditions. But all of it's also very pernicious because it is cultural erasure. And we don't like to talk about that. We don't like to have that conversation. But, Christians don't go to these places and respect and honor people's current customs and traditions. They replace it with evangelical Christianity. So part of what we lose is different things like animism, the worship of different types of animals or animal spirits or whatever it might be, and then ancestor worship, and some of these things are considered by many to be some of the oldest forms of religion. If you look at sort of the evolution of religion, the cultural evolution of religion, a lot of these type of religions predate current religions. Now, me, I'm not just an atheist as somebody who doesn't believe in God, but again, I'm somebody who's really does not see the value of religious practice. So I don't worship my ancestors or any other type of religious expression. But I agree ostensibly with the sentiment of like, what's wrong with worshiping your ancestors? Like it is one of the most, if you're gonna be religious about something, it is sort of the most logical thing. And even the Bible contains a bit of that, right? The Bible is honor your mother and your father and whatever, right? It's carrying through that element that we've always believed of like, yeah, you're an organism that like literally would not exist if it was not for this unbroken evolutionary chain of inheritance that we all have. And so it's a very understandable, natural sort of expression to just, yeah, like life is good, we chilling, I'm happy to be here, we're part of my people, and we revere and give a lot of honor and respect to the ancestors who not only survived. You got to remember, y'all, it's not just about surviving and I wouldn't be here without them. It's also everything we use to survive, to make our way of life, was passed down from them. They're the ones that taught us which plants were medicine versus which plants were poison, how we do our customs, how we do our traditions, where the best hunting spots are and how to trap. Well, all the stuff we had to do, y'all, we got from the ancestors. So he's speaking to that. But also, like, I noticed what she did. He made this other great point. It's like, to me, it's like his punchline of this video, which is, let black Christians talk enough and they're always going to sound like white supremacists. And you really hear her really just crapping on the video she is responding to. Like, he got y'all all thinking you black. Oh, now that he done got you excited about you're black and white people are messed up. Well, now he got you, I'm black and I'm proud. Well, now that he got you all excited about black, now he's trying to convince you Jesus is a problem. Like, and you hear her, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a sort of like internalized, like, denigrating of a person who's really trying to uplift black consciousness, to say black consciousness is important. This is what he's talking about when he says you let black Christians talk enough and they're always going to sound like white supremacists, because they can't help but literally get offended at somebody being black and then challenging Christianity from a place of black consciousness. And it shows you what a threat it is to believers. All right, I just wanted to highlight that. Did you want to say anything, get in here?
I think it's true. When the criticism comes, it does sound like the criticism of a white supremacist, which is a shame, right? But in a way, that helps us understand that the human mind, when it is opposing something like, I'll say, a person's taking pride in themselves or their past, it can be approached in a way that's very hypocritical, in a way that's very delicate. I was arguing with somebody who was talking about how people need to assimilate when they've come to this country,
Mm-hmm.
and like Latinos aren't from Mexico or wherever. They don't deserve to be a part of this country. And his last name is Serbian. I looked it up. I'm like, your last name is Serbian. Shut up, was the reply I got. Why? Because he realizes he wants to keep something he doesn't want to give away. Respect. Respect for his ancestors. And she might be going through a version of that herself, where she wants people to assimilate, thinking that's going to make us bind together. Well, shoot, I don't have a lick of German in me, I don't think, but I'll have a wonderful time at Oktoberfest, and I don't even drink. I'm
Mm.
enjoying the music, I'm enjoying the costumes, I'm enjoying the people, having a laugh with perfect strangers. I don't need them to be any more like me than they are. They don't need me to change in order for us to enjoy each other's presence. And that is the thing that is so easily forgotten because people think they're losing something, right? Again and again, this other group has come here. Here in Fort Wayne, there's the second largest population of Burmese people outside of Burma.
Mm.
They are here by the tens of thousands. I go to, I don't know where the largest communities within the city are, but I know not far from where I am, if I walk into a Walmart, there must be 40 Burmese people working there.
Mm.
Plenty of Burmese people shopping there. Well, that's one thing Americans do. They shop. Another thing they do is they work at Walmart, some of them. So they want to keep, I'm sure, their culture to some degree, but in some ways, they're probably more than happy to embrace how things are here. They are fleeing some of them religious persecution. The worst thing that can happen is that they find it here again in mass. There will be some people lining up to say, well, now let me tell you about Jesus because I want you to believe what I believe because I think it's right.
Yeah, and
But
that
they
to me
don't want to
is
listen to the other side, right? Well, let me tell
yeah.
you what we believe because we think it's right.
And that's the thing is like too like it's 2025. Like she is arguing for assimilation, but people shouldn't do that. Like again, that's culture. See, the thing that they try to do is they try to make it neutral. They try to make it like, oh, it should just be the American like default, and that shows you how central and dominant they want their culture to be. Oh, we want everybody to be together, but we want you to fit into something. Then they make it like it's neutral, like it's not black or white. It's American. It's not this religion or that religion. It's Christianity. Like it, and they make that the default. But you can't keep yourself whole and assimilate. Like that's not what people want anymore. Like it's very that's like people right. Like people want to come here and they want what America was supposed to be, which is freedom. They're supposed to be free to still be who they are, but still be integrated into society. And yes, you have to do certain things. Like you may have to work at Walmart, or you may have to shop at Walmart, and that may mean. For instance, like we talk about American Chinese food, a lot of the difference is ingredients. It's like the
Yeah.
ingredients you would want to do it the traditional Chinese way may not always be available. So you have to work within the confines of what you can actually get at the grocery store. So there's gonna be some level of adaptation and things like that. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's just so broken to me that like to hear black people denigrate blackness in favor of a Christianity that is anti-blackness and to not even realize it and see it. And I don't know which ones are worse. I don't know if it's worse the ones that know that they're only Christian because our ancestors were enslaved and it was forced on them, or like the ones that don't know that, or the ones that know it and think that it's okay, or think that it's better that way, or that they're lucky that that happened. Like it's so disgusting. I
I've heard, and I don't think the person was trying to be the least bit racist or mean, but he said to me, "Well, don't you think black people have benefited in America from slavery?" And I brought this up on Hot Program before, so forgive me if you've heard it more than one time as an audience member. And I said, "No." And he went on to detail his thoughts. You have great opportunities for survival, for nutrition, for education, propagation, and on and on and on. And I said, I would gladly give up my existence for the millions of people who were enslaved and died during the Middle Passage, crossing the ocean to get here to live a life of slavery, but they died in the process. I'd gladly give my life up for all of them. You can just all of it. Just take it and bring those people back and let them stay in their homes with their families, in their groups. I'd do that. I would have no problem with that. And to him, he can see why I would make the sacrifice because it is for so many. But slavery was just not necessary. In the human realm, in the realm of humanity, it has been something that has always been unnecessary. And I don't have a desire to control people like that. I just don't. There are people who do,
But the funny
right?
thing too is like it's still happening and Christians don't care. This is another reason I have no respect for Christianity is that they don't actually care about the real problems of the world. But everything they do care about mostly is shit that's not even a real problem. Sin is not
Now,
real. Nobody cares. I don't care who people sleep with. I don't care what they do in their spare time. I don't care. We care about harmful stuff. And like now, like Christians love to brag about Christianity ending slavery, but it's like, again, there's more people living in slavery today than at any point in human history.
you know
Modern
what?
day slavery is horrible,
I
but they
don't
don't even talk about it.
I don't give them that at all. I'm like, Jesus had all the opportunity he needed to end slavery, and so did the biblical God, but neither one did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying. And then
I
even
don't get to
now,
you don't
and
get
then
to have that.
yeah, and then even now, it's like right now, Christians they like to brag, but again, what are y'all doing about modern day slavery? Nothing. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing. What are you doing? I was like, nothing. Not a damn thing. And then most of them will flat out argue in favor of it. They gotta defend at least the quote unquote biblical slavery. All right, let me go ahead and roll this so we can stay
Sure,
on time
sure.
today.
Where do you think that came from?
Bro, it's like, I don't understand what go through these Christians' mind, bro. Black people are still at the bottom of every totem pole today,
Yes.
but yet we are the biggest and strongest Christians. If you go outside right now, if I go back to my mama neighborhood, I will see about 10 churches in the vicinity. Churches everywhere, but the neighborhoods are poor, run down, poverty, drugs everywhere. What the fuck is Christianity doing for the black community? It's not doing shit. And wherever there are a lot of churches, there is poverty. Clearly, these churches aren't. This shit pissing me off. I ain't gonna lie, bro. This lady, I'm gonna have to. I'm not watching no more her video. She.
All right, y'all. I just want to say real quick that this is trauma. I know for a lot of people, y'all are complimentary, like black people we have style, we have some swag, we have some seasoning, okay? And it's entertaining and it makes things the way we present dynamic and I get all that and I appreciate that. But this is trauma. This is trauma. This is pain. If you look how excited I'm gonna play this back real quick. I want y'all to watch his body language.
I don't understand what go through these Christians' mind, bro. Black people are still at the bottom of every totem pole today, but yet we are the biggest and strongest Christians. If you go outside right now, if I go back to my mama neighborhood, I will see about 10 churches in the vicinity. Churches everywhere, but the neighborhoods are poor, run down, poverty, drugs everywhere. What the fuck is Christianity doing for the black community? It's not doing shit. And
Right. See, his body language is all over the place. His voice is cracking. His voice is literally cracking
Hmm.
like a teenager. Right. It's this like, what do I have to say to get y'all to take this seriously? What the right? And it's this desperate. This is what I'm saying, y'all. It's the urgency we feel. Do we really have to live our entire lives like this? Are we really not gonna acknowledge the elephant in the room? Are we really gonna just keep doing like we're literally trying to break generational curses, y'all? And this is why like I just relate to where he's coming from because I know he's trying to be cool. He's trying to make a cool YouTube video. He's trying to entertain his audience, but I can recognize that this is a trauma-informed response that you're seeing. And I think sometimes we focus on the style and we overlook the fact that as content creators in this space, we're putting this stuff out into the world because we're scared, we're frustrated, we're desperate, we're literally like crying out for help. That's literally what's happening.
Hmm.
Wherever there are a lot of churches, there is poverty. Clearly, these churches aren't. This shit pissing me off. I ain't gonna lie, bro. This lady, I'm gonna have to. I'm not watching no more of her video. She gonna make me mad. Someone said our ancestors are demons. She said yes, boo. Them people dead. They just demons.
Dave.
Someone said I love
Welcome,
Deontay Cal,
welcome.
but he is going to lead black people in the wrong direction. Ironic because y'all been following Jesus for centuries and still ain't no better off than we were 400 years ago.
There you
You
go.
people are pathetic. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like what? What? Why are our ancestors in hell? Exactly. Like what? Someone said. Some of them, not all of them, because they sided with evil. Do y'all hit, bro? I mean, these are the exact same black Christians that believe, we were better off in slavery than in Africa because, we were worshiping trees. This is how they think, y'all. This is how they think. I'm so pro-black, bro, but we can't save certain niggas, bro. We really can't. Someone said, please tell me how our enslaved ancestors that fought for our rights sided with evil. This religion shit makes y'all say some crap. That's what I'm saying. Anytime a black Christian talk, they're going to say something that is anti-black and white supremacist rooted. Every single time, bro. So the demons only show up
This is
the
crazy. It
anti-black.
said, please tell me how our enslaved ancestors that fought for our rights sided with evil. This religious shit makes y'all say some crazy shit. This is, what's his name? Seth Andrews. Christianity Made Me Talk Like an Idiot or whatever. He wrote a book on it. Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. And I agree with him. Like, I think the problem is like, y'all, it's kind of like how I did it with my family, to be honest. And again, I'm encouraging more people to do that because I'm being honest with y'all. You're not really getting through to random people on the internet. I appreciate you trying. We definitely got to keep up fighting a good fight. But let's be honest. Motherfuckers on the internet, everything goes in one ear, out the other because they don't really know us. They don't really mess with us, so they don't have to take what we say seriously. At least maybe you could get through to your friends and family, some of the real people in your life, and get them to stop, endorsing and supporting this cult. But I have to be honest with you, it's probably not going to happen because they're deeply indoctrinated and at this point willing to resort to all types of dishonesty and chicanery to stay in the faith. So if you do try to have these conversations with them, all of that bad behavior is going to come out. But I think you should do it anyway because you have to learn for yourself who can be saved and who can't. Who is really a decent person and like, I'm gonna really plead my case and they're gonna hear me and they're gonna at least, think about these things and maybe start to go in the right direction versus who is just, and look, you gotta understand that like people are grown. There's nothing y'all could do to stop me from playing in traffic today if I really wanted to. If I really just decided today's the day, I'm just gonna do game over by GTA style car accident. What can you actually do to stop me? Like not a whole lot, right? And it's the same thing with these believers. Like the one thing they figured out is that they're grown adults and that they have every right in the world, especially in this country, to Christian as hard as they want to Christian. And I really think when you talk to the people in your family and friends, that's when you're going to see them puffing up their chest and really beating on their chest and really start to tell you how tough they are. But anyway, like, I think you do it because, again, you then realize, oh, okay, you can't be saved. Like, you're too far gone. And then, boom, we do what we got to do without you. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm not holding on to a lot of hope for these people. I'll talk to them, I'll see where they're really at. Hey, maybe I'll get lucky sometime and they'll be more reasonable than I expect. But yeah, I just think for the most part we got to do what we got to do because I don't want to get into a whole thing about it because we'll revisit it on a different stream. But basically, I think a lot of us are waiting for permission. We're waiting for Christians to give us permission to speak our truth, to live our secular lives as non-believers, and to really fight for the type of more secular world that we want to live in. It's not just about living our truth. It's about saying, fuck all this bullshit. Y'all are the reasons we can't have nice things. notice that all of the major religious institutions are the ones getting people to vote and support policies that stop us from making the world a better place. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
and
Exactly.
so it's like, what are we doing waiting around for them to tell us it's okay to take power from them? That's not how the game is played. So at this point, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna confront you with it. I'm gonna hit you with it to see if I could get you on our side. I'm recruiting. I'm seeing if I could get you over to the side of humanity because you will make things easier for everybody if I could. But once I realize I can't, I'm gonna go about doing what I got to do to make the world better and take care of my people, and I'm gonna just ignore you, and then I'm gonna just try to take power from you, and at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna just try to put us in charge. That's where I'm at least with it.
And white supremacists rooted every single time, bro. So the demons only show up with it in the regards to your own people. Exactly. Why would my
Yeah, we need
ancestors who put
communism
their
like
lives on the
yesterday.
line, who
Exactly,
marched and
Dave.
literally fought for me, be in hell? This video really is reflective of how our country has a 60% literacy rate. That's what I'm saying. They can't even break down the video and understand what the man was saying, man.
Deontay Kyle doesn't believe in Christianity,
That's
and
so
honestly,
good.
I don't care. I don't get offended to what he has to say because he's very woke. And am I woke? No. I'm a Christian before I'm anything else.
Whoa,
look
Before
at
I'm
whoa,
this.
a-
whoa,
Look at
whoa, whoa.
this.
Pause the tape.
Look at this. Go ahead.
I wish I knew which episode of Hot Program it was. It was still in the archives. Folks, if you didn't know, Jesus is woke. The Bible is woke. Super duper woke. I can't say they invented it, but it is perfected within those pages. Oh my gosh, they want you to understand what they've been through. They want you to empathize. They want you to make sure that they don't struggle or have a hard time. They want you to know that your helping hand is welcome to them. They want your sympathy, your empathy, and God even wants your money. I'm telling you, super duper woke. So it's a shame that this young lady is probably not that well versed on what her Bible actually says regarding wokeness and just how in favor of wokeness it
You know,
is.
it's an interesting point because I actually am one of them people that I don't think the Bible's woke. I don't think Jesus is woke, and I can't I gotta say this so I hate liberal Christianity more than I hate conservative Christianity. At least conservative Christianity is fucking honest, like. And so I think the Bible is misogynistic, racist, pro-slavery, pro-genocide, uh, all- just all of that,
It's that too, but it's a
anti-LGBTQ.
thick book.
But yeah, right. But there's a lot of flowery nonsense in there. And if you kind of look at it from the perspective of the God, of the main fictional character, and this story with his people, it is like, and I'll make the manna fall from heaven, and I'll part the seas for you, and you got to have a place to be, so I'll give you this land, and like, yeah, I was watching, I was listening to
That's
that.
woke.
I think, yeah, as I was saying,
Someone's
that's really,
persecuting you. I'm
yeah,
gonna help you flee from persecution.
yeah,
You don't have a place to
exactly.
be? Well, look, I'll make sure you get a place to be.
It was like a Joel Reed's Bible video, and he had some Christian on, and the Christian was basically saying like, yeah, it's weird. I guess they had to do a lot of that warring stuff because it's like, God sent Moses to tell him where to stop, and then when it's like when he told them where to stop, they were surrounded by all their enemies. It's like he's not even realizing like, yes, and what do you think happens when God tells you to wander into this other region and take the land and stop amongst a bunch of tribes? Like, you think God's gonna come? It's like he walked himself right up to, yeah, God commanded them to genocide these people. Like, it's just so weird. But you're right. That is like seeing the need for economic reform and understanding their need for a place and all of this type of shit.
Super woke, super woke. Oh, they don't want you to discriminate against them. Their God who blesses them will bless you if you bless them. a rising tide lifts all.
Yeah,
The tide lifts
yeah,
all. But I'm
yeah.
telling you, it is wokeness par excellence. Go on.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm with you, Dade. I don't charity, love, kindness. Yeah, I don't do it. I don't do the cherry picking. And we've talked about it too. Like, it would be a lot better for me if it was just all bad. People got to remember that all that good stuff, that's just the dirty used car salesman getting you to buy the car that you shouldn't buy. If the dirty used car salesman was just bad, if his place looked run down and he just walked out cursing at you, what the fuck do you want? You know I fucking hate customers. Just give me your goddamn money right now. Oh, you see that piece of shit over there? I'm gonna sell you that piece of shit over there. I don't even think that thing will make it home. I doubt before you even make it to the grocery store, that shit's gonna be smoking on you. It's gonna break you down. It's never gonna get you to work fucking reliably and on time. Get the fuck out of here. I fucking hate customers. Give me your goddamn money. Get the fuck off my lot. Right? You just wouldn't shop there. It'd have all the 1-star reviews on Yelp, like, and he'd be closed. He'd be closed in like 6 months, and so
He put
we
himself
wouldn't
out
have
of
to worry
business.
about. He put himself out of business. We wouldn't have to worry about it. The reason we got to worry about Christianity, y'all, is because it keeps sucking people in with the kind bullshit. We got cupcakes, we got chicken dinners, we got fellowship, we got a singles ministry. We're going to take care of your kids. Love, love, community, community. God is love. Jesus loves you. God loves everybody. Jesus is going to make everything. He's going to bless you. He's going to heal you. He's going to. So I don't fuck with none of that shit. Because making it friendly, making it nice, that's what keeps people hooked on it. So yeah, I'm the person that, like, when everybody's like, well, this Christian's so nice and this church is so light, I'm like, that's the fucking problem. Fuck that shit. Fuck the nice ones. And it makes me sound like a crazy person, y'all. But there's a method to the madness, I promise you.
I'm a black
Yeah, y'all
woman.
keep
I'm
thinking
a
that.
woman who follows Christ.
Yeah, keep thinking
Me
that
being
shit.
black. Oh, I got a bump on my.
Yeah.
Me being a black woman is secondary, okay? And I just
Okay.
know that for a fact for me because before skin
If you take your ass back 400 years and you say I'm a black Christian, you still gonna get your ass beat, whipped, lynched, hanged. It don't mean shit. So you better start putting your blackness first. And like I be saying, I hate this talking point because those white Christians most definitely see race. It's always race for them.
color at the end of the day.
Okay, and he's getting at another myth, and this is something I need all minority groups to understand. Black, white, not white. I don't know why I said white. Black, brown, LGBTQ, women. We all need to get serious about this. Immigrants, especially immigrants. Immigrants, I'm gonna need y'all to lean in extra hard. Okay? They don't validate religion's expression centered on our people. There is no way to glorify the Christian God in 2025 and not be glorifying the God of white supremacy. See, the myth that people get in their head is like black folk believe if they Christian hard enough and they Christian correctly, that they are promoting a Christianity that is pro-black. It's pro-civil rights. It's pro whatever, right? It's all about they think the we shall overcome is all about us. And I told you, black folk literally identify with Exodus. They've literally convinced themselves that somehow Exodus was like a preview of God, what God was going to do for black Americans. And that's why my grandfather's that's why my uncle's name is Moses, and my grandfather's name is Moses, and my great grandfather's name is Moses. I'm not fucking with y'all. They name us after this shit for a fucking reason, right? But we're in America, and so when you promote Christianity, you promote the Christianity that's in power, the dominant Christianity. People don't take the time to split those hairs. And then think about where your money ultimately goes. It goes into the church, and the church don't really do shit for people, right? And then most of those organizations just feed the church money back into the fucking white economy or whatever, or up into their organizations. And so it's just like, it's weird. It's like minority groups try to create their own brand of Christianity and think that like somehow if they do it right, then that will become the dominant Christian narrative. And they need to realize that like, no, the dominant Christian narrative is going to be the dominant Christian narrative that it's always been. And they have to now realize that like the way the Constitution was set up was done by white Christians in a way to disempower marginalized groups. The way our government is currently structured and operates was set up by Christians to disempower and oppress marginalized people. So when you big up Christianity and send your money to Christianity, you are directly and sometimes indirectly supporting the Christianity of Marjorie Taylor Greene and the Christo-American right-wing fascist, because putting crosses everywhere reinforces the status quo that upholds people like them. It doesn't get people to challenge the prejudices and the biases. People don't see those crosses and go, oh yeah, you're right. Shit, Black Lives Matter. Like it doesn't work like that. Go ahead.
I gotta jump in here, Pocket Locker. So racist people like the Klan, Ku Klux Klan, can claim Christianity. And it is, for all intents and purposes, the same Christianity that my mother has. She can do nothing other than say they're not Christians.
Right.
And they can do nothing but say, yes, we are, and it becomes that. And in a way, it's not an invalid point. But what's happening amongst them is unfair, because you have a group that is clearly, biblically speaking, unchristian. And then you have a lot of other people who think they are themselves, not the Klan, who think themselves to be Christian. Then if we cracked open a Bible, right? And I went through, I'm like, okay, here are some things that help us understand how the Bible defines a Christian, beyond simply accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Is there more to it than that? There seems to be. Otherwise, all those other pages are unnecessary, right? Hundreds of pages are just unnecessary if that's not the case. So when we start to detail those things out, are we seeing Christian behavior out of the Klan? Especially with the hatred, right? They would be thrown out of the synagogue. Like, we're not here to hate other groups. We're not.
I don't know. I don't think they would. I think
They would.
I think over most of the history of the church, churches were segregated.
Not the history of the church, Pocket Locker, the Bible. I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana is known as the city of churches. That's where I am right now. There are no shortage of churches here. And I haven't been in a church or to a church service since I've returned. So I don't know how segregated they are, but I know if I go to the fanciest parts of town, there's plenty of churches there. If I go over to the hood, there's plenty of churches there. I don't know that people in great numbers are driving across town to go to the other groups.
Not many. I would
Churches.
say throughout most of this
assuming
country's
it's rare.
history, churches were incredibly segregated, and even today, churches are segregated. I would say like churches today are segregated to the point of exceptions. Are there some diverse churches? Yeah, I went to a diverse.
And I've been to those.
I grew up in a diverse church. Okay, but those diverse churches are rare, right? So if there's 20 churches and 2 of them are diverse, the churches are not diverse by and large, right? There may be this exception, but the rule is they're not diverse, right? Yeah. And then within churches, it's to the exception. You got a church of 700 black families and there are 5 white families. Sorry, you're not diverse. Is it pure? Like there's a sign outside that says no whites allowed? No, there isn't a sign that says no whites allowed. But de facto, we call it a black church. And we'll go to the other side of town and we'll call this a white church. Are black people out in here? Yeah, there's actually 3 or 4 black people here right now. And black people could walk through the door anytime. And our drummer's black, and so is our bass player. So but again, it's a white church. And the funny thing too is the culture makes them different. Like I played in white churches and black churches, sometimes very close to each other, right? And it's like, you know, the food is different, the way you worship is different, the music is different, and even when you do the same song, you do it in a totally different style. So it's crazy that, you know, that right there is it just shows you kind of what I was saying is like, even in the absence of legal segregation, we get de facto segregation, because the reality is most white folk don't want to live in our communities. They don't want to go to our schools. They don't want to really work at the same place with a lot of us. And so we, people of means, tend to use those means to put themselves in social situations where things are not very diverse. And as minorities, we kind of even understand that that's what they mean when they say quote unquote good fill in the blank. When somebody says a good school, or I got a good job, or we just bought a really nice house in a really good neighborhood, most black folks and minorities understand that's all code for white spaces that, you know, you're not going to find a lot of, you know, riffraff or whatever, right? And so how is it that a country that's supposed to be this Christian, almost to the point of like, literally, we can't get elected around here as atheists. People don't want to talk about it. Uncle Bobby does a great job of covering some of this stuff in his episodes called like Anything But an Atheist, to the point where they've literally done public polls and people have a lower opinion of atheists than they do of people who commit sexual assault. What the fuck is up with that? We have situations. He said he got people that he worked with to basically like have a conniption and break down by simply asking them, who would you rather bring home to your family, a black guy or an atheist? And white folks in his life just will fucking melt at the question. Like, what type of fucked up shit is this? Because they know they can't bring home either. They know damn well they can't bring home either. And I'm talking about right now. I ain't talking about 50 years ago, 500 years ago, 5,000. I'm talking about today in 2025.
What's for dinner?
And this is, yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Say.
And this is like, and this is, to keep it real, it's like, this is what I'm saying about them not being able to really promote a Christianity that's pro us, because again, look at who's in power. Look at all the people who use Christianity, for instance, to get elected or appeal to the base. In this country, the Christian base is always gonna be hardcore conservative, right? Those are the people who move with Christianity in power, even though most of the people on the other side are actually even more Christian than they are. The Democrats are the ones who most people would say are just as Christian. They actually really go to church. They don't really just use Christianity for branding. Like, they really believe that stuff. And then they're the ones who try to do the faith, hope, and love and donate to the poor and all that type of shit. So if you really were basing it on an evaluation of who lives the more ideal American Christianity lifestyle, a lot of us would say the Democrats are actually more Christian than the fucking Republicans.
Yes.
But because of the way Christianity has always been and always operated, it moves in power with the conservatives and the oppressives, and it's always been that way from the beginning. Remember, this shit was meant for white, male, land-owning Christians to be the only people who have any say in this country. And the people who still want to reform and make it that way are only playing on one side of the fence. Go ahead.
I'll be right back. I have to excuse myself. I'll keep listening.
Oh, yeah, go for it. And I'm going to let it roll anyway, because we got to keep moving. Dade sent $5, man. Really appreciate the donation. Thank you so much. Ultimately, everything held sacrosanct in America becomes perverted by the pursuit of profit, period. I could not have said any better. Capitalism ruins everything.
When we get to heaven, if you are a believer in Christ and you follow Christ, like skin is not gonna be a different.
That is what I'm saying. So
Oh, but
I
wait,
don't
hang
y'all.
on a second though. What's up with this room? Y'all know my one black friend always keeping it nice. Always keeping it nice. Always keeping it classy. Looking good.
Gotta break it down for me, bro. Cause it's like they like God don't judge you. You could do anything, He still could forgive you. But let you don't believe in Him. You could touch little kids. You can, do stuff to women. You can take people's lives. But as long as you believe in Jesus Christ, you going to heaven. It don't fucking make sense. It sounds like a fairy tale, bro. Those people are telling you to wait for your heaven
Sounds like
up
a
there
fairy tale.
when you die, but they got their heaven right here. Man, listen, bro. If you want to control a group of people, just follow the strategy of what they did to us. Take away everything that is meant from us. Take our way of living away. Take our religion. Take our true religion. Tell us we ain't shit. Do what they did, and I promise you, you got people like her that will continue to run. Man,
Deontay Kyle is the Antichrist because 80% of Black Christians are functionally illiterate.
that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
I know I've been waiting on this one. 80% of Black Christians are functionally illiterate, and I think it's so funny because the main people quoting the Bible are the main people that can't.
Woo! Functionally illiterate. See, that's that term again, de facto, y'all. You know your boy teaching anthropology and sociology this semester. So I'm introducing them to like de facto racism, right? The fact that something there may not be a law that's mandating a particular discrimination or form of racism. There may not be a policy or even an explicit like social enforcement where like, oh, we're going to violently chase out people or whatever. But the way the system is structured, the way things happen to play out, the facts of the matter, the result, the actual thing we have is segregation of the races. And that was what we were just talking about when we talked about the difference between black and white churches. It's a de facto segregation. Neither has a sign out front saying the other can't come in, right? Neither has an official rule that says we won't recognize these type of people as members, but somehow we all still know there are black churches, white churches, and either a diverse church or diversity within those churches is the exception, not the rule. We all know that because it's de facto the case, right? And this is what she's saying when people are functionally illiterate. It's not that you actually can't read or write, and it's not that anybody is restricting you from accessing information. The library isn't saying, sorry, we won't give people like you library cards. It's just that age-old expression, if you want to hide something from black people, stick it in a book, still is apparently the case because these people refuse to access the information that they need to.
Fucking read it. Y'all can read to identify words on the paper, but you cannot read to comprehend.
Critical
you can
think.
read and
They can't
understand
critical
that
think.
word says that, but you don't know what that fucking means. And so y'all are online talking about, oh, venerating your ancestor sounds like possession because that nigga told y'all to tap into the blood that's coursing through your fucking veins. You see, ancestor veneration is not just about putting your ancestors on an altar. Sometimes it's picking up the prophecy. It's continuing the work. Some of them need you to pursue the fucking missions that they didn't get to finish, and they need you to be the vessel. And y'all like, that sounds like possession. Mind you, you're okay with the pastor of the church praying over you, the mother of the church throwing a sheet over you because you're slain in the spirit, and the spirit is your trauma. Go to fucking therapy. And what this means, the most intelligent black people within our community are not in the church. Y'all thought Deontay Kyle was intelligent up until he started pointing out your own idiotic ideologies. When he starts showing y'all the flaws in y'all way of thinking, now y'all like, oh no, you're taking it too far. If you can't recognize that Christ was circumstantial for our ancestors to cope, you were not paying attention.
It was a coping mechanism. Bro, think about it, bro. I understand our ancestors for being like Christians, bro. Like, I would have probably been a Christian during that damn time. Every single day of your life, you're forced to work, no freedom, told what to do. I would want to believe that when I pass away, there will be a heaven, you know what I'm saying? But in current today, it's no reason to believe that, bro. We have freedom, and you know the reason we got these rights because of our ancestors. They kept fighting back.
Felicia, what is this motherfucker talking about? PC, I don't. What's going on? Who is this nailed person? What are you talking about, bro? They just got put on timeout. Not a fan. Oh, rebuke and reprove. What? Oh my goodness. Yes, as soon as one of you cowards steps outside of your echo chamber and debates the topic, I'll demonstrate such is the case again. Numbers don't lie, liberals do. Oh, you're so silly.
Oh man, bro, but they want to give credit to this to Jesus. I don't care if Jesus is black. A lot of people like he's black, bro. Bro. I don't care. The niggas, whatever race he is, he ain't really did shit for us. Sorry to say, man. My ancestors did this shit. Other black people got us here. Shout out to the leaders that passed away. You get what I'm saying?
During slavery, you do not understand the sacrifices that they've made in order for your stupid ass to be here. When y'all think about the fact that our ancestors had their spiritual practices and their spiritual beliefs beat out of them, y'all never go back and wonder what was it?
Right.
Y'all think
It's just
that
automatically
the only
demonic.
people that were filled with the blood of Christ and the love
Automatically
of
demonic.
God were the
Stupid.
white people that came and stole us from the land in which we were on and sold us off on various islands and parts of this motherfucking country and tormented us, turned us into fucking furniture, ate us. These were the only ones
Ate
that
us, bro.
God
Boiled
had
us alive in
chosen to
sugar.
give his way of thinking to.
Yeah, go
And
do-
these are the people that he chose to instill it upon us. To be fair, in the same sentiment, our ancestors' blood coursing through our veins just allows us to identify who is who, and I know exactly who you niggas are.
Right.
Because the ones that are about it always come back and they're always about it. And the ones that are bitches can't get that bitch out their blood.
But that's why I say, man, the white man has did their
Oh,
damage on
so
us, my
good.
nigga. Like they have did their damage on us, bro. And like I say, I want you to go find any black Christian, talk to them long enough, and they gonna say some racist shit, and they gonna be black. You know what I'm saying? I say most of these people don't really care about racism, bro. They raccooned out. I know this comment section gonna be crazy, man. You know, hey, I'm standing on mine though, bro. Christianity did shit for black people, bro. If y'all want to see something similar to this, go check out the video on my main channel, The Black Christian Problem.
Yeah, we might at some point. That's probably a good one. Probably a good one. What do you think of all that, man? I know we got to get out of here soon, but appreciate you.
Certainly don't agree with some of the language, that's for sure. Certainly don't. Words I don't say. But look, I think my point of view isn't going to change much. I can definitely see that there is, and I'm going to equate it to computer programming. There is some programming there that was not installed by the user. It might have come from the indoctrination that the parents saw fit to put there. These, in this society, religion is an excellent way of controlling people by the millions. You can be like a Trump where you're not even smart enough to know everything the book says. You can just know a little bit of it and people will get excited. You can just make the claim that you are an adherent to Christianity and people will get excited. One of the reasons they get excited is your faith validates theirs. If you two had a discussion to talk about what Christianity is to both of you, you might learn that you aren't. It seems you've read completely different Bibles. Like you don't agree at all on so many things, but the labels don't change.
Right.
So you could use as much of the other person as you find useful and throw the rest of them away. It's freaking sad. It's sad. I have said it, Pocket Locker. You have said it, and many an atheist have said it. If you are a Christian, read the Bible. Excuse me, and don't try to berate me for saying, well, you need to read the Bible when I tell you I have, and that's why I'm a non-believer. The only comeback is, well, you didn't understand it. Because what they're doing is they're indicting themselves. They likely haven't read it. They certainly didn't understand it unless they went around all the uncomfortable crap I had to wade through when I read it.
Right.
You know, the stuff that makes me not believe, like Ezekiel 20, where the God of the Bible is saying he gave the Hebrews statutes by which they could not live, right? Laws that would horrify them, even to kill their own, sacrifice their own firstborn. That's in the Bible in Ezekiel 20. That's the God of the Bible allegedly saying that about himself.
Right.
you don't get worship from me after that. We're done, right?
Totally.
Rules for slavery instead of banning slavery outright. You
Right.
don't get worship from me if you can't do that. If you can't manage that. Jesus didn't do it. God didn't do it. So what good are they for
And
me?
then all the slavery that's there too is like, it's not like you can say I didn't. Well, slavery. I didn't know. I didn't know people were doing slavery. Right? It's like it's just it's so weird.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
the biblical God can't say he didn't know. I didn't know any of that stuff was going on. They didn't pray about that to me, didn't they? They skipped that, huh? Um, so for me, I can pose those challenges to the person who is a believer. I do that with my family. And what do they do, right? It's not that they don't hear me say that. They're in shock that that's in there, that the slavery parts are in there. They're in shock that the child sacrifice parts are in there. They haven't put in the same level of work that I had. Or if they had, if they could, in my opinion, right? If they could read those things and it did, freedom, right? If freedom didn't mean as much to them as it did to me, we're not on the same level.
Well,
We're
it's.
not.
I
I'm
think it's.
I'm not I'm not for anybody being enslaved for any reason. I'm just not. And they likely aren't either. But I would have the courage to say to an all-powerful creator of the universe, if there was one, that's a dick move. And you're an ass for doing that kind of thing. And I don't appreciate you. I certainly can't love you and don't expect me to. And there are millions more just like me. And you ought to be thankful for every single one of us because the whole world doesn't want to be like you if that's how you want to be. It's that simple.
Yeah, and that's what produces to me the. I think, and it's. I haven't done the experiments, but from my understanding, I think that's a lot of what produces the religious narcissism. Is there's they're so fearful of losing this thing, and it allows them to overlook those things so that they can maintain that sense of specialness. But in that is where you lose your humanity, because that is where you now have to say, that, and that's the thing. That's like what I said to my family. You worship the monster. You have to at that point. You're just
It,
worshiping the
it
monster.
that's how I see the biblical God. He is a
Yeah, you
monster.
gotta at that point you're just worshiping the monster, and then you don't care. They're like that is the truth, is that those people don't care, and that's the part that they don't get, that we understand. They think that this is us, just even if when they listen to this they think we're just being mean, or like we're just trying to like hurl
No.
insult at them. It's like we're not. We're sincerely saying you worship the monster, and as a result you have to overlook the slavery, the genocide, the sexism, the racism, the homophobia, like the whole kit and caboodle. And then
Yeah.
and then we see you doing it now. We see you doing it today in real life. You're ignoring the global warming, and you're trying to take over schools, and you're okay with mass deportations, and you're still somehow
Even though you're
fine with
supposed to,
us dropping bombs on children, and
the Bible said you're supposed to be kind to the strangers in your land.
you're more upset about Charlie Kirk's child having to see him get murdered than actual children getting murdered. We see these things happening in real time. That's why we say these things, because we see these things. All
Yeah,
right, man. Go ahead.
I think it comes down to, and again, I'm reminded of that song I talked about last week by Lindsay Russell. But I think it comes down to being able to have the courage, if there is a judgment day of biblical proportions, to be able to look that God in the eye and say, "You just weren't good enough for me. Why should I be more moral than you?" You can go back to that lesson from, Adam and Eve in the garden, right? God told Adam, "Don't you eat from this tree." We don't see where he told Eve that, but okay, don't eat from this tree. Eve takes fruit, um, and gives it to Adam, and Now they know the difference between good and evil. One of the chief reasons you would want people to be ignorant about what is good and what is evil is so that no one holds you back from doing evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you keep reading the Bible, you're going to find where the biblical God does lots of evil.
I like
Lots of it.
I like Hillwood's comment. The problem is the ones that read it and cherry pick that is actual dishonesty. A person like that shouldn't be trusted. Yeah, I totally agree. And that's where I think our responsibility lies is we got to stop giving so much social status to this practice. It's a real issue. All right, gang, we got to get out of here. We're over time. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to the mods. If you're watching later, please do hit us with the like and the subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channels. And then also there are links in the descriptions to show us some support, to donate to Lina, to join the Discord, or to join our virtual headquarters that we call the Live HQ in Work Adventure. Otherwise, gang, remember to be good to yourselves.
And each other. And vet your contractors.
And vet your contractors. We'll see you next time. Set 'em go.